Okay, I just wanted to make a quick pit stop at this tree. This tree is one that I planted on a large diameter hole filled with, backfilled with charcoal and soil. So I dug an 8-foot by 2-foot pit. I burned a bunch of charcoal in it, then I crushed the charcoal and took it back out, and then I mixed it with soil as I put the soil back into the pit. And it actually ended up being about 2.5 feet deep. So it's about 2.5 by 8-foot diameter, with maybe like 5 to 10% charcoal, no more than 15%. I would have liked to put in a lot more, but that's what I had at the time. The tree has done very well. It has done much better than any of the other younger trees. It has made it through 2 hard drought years with good growth. This right down here is where it started this spring, so it put on that much. And it would have grown a lot more this spring, but I pruned it late. So after it had already got pretty well underway, I came in and cut a bunch off because I had just forgotten to prune it earlier. The reason I'm showing you this mostly is because this is going to be a late hanging apple frankentree. I haven't decided on all the varieties, but I do have one on here. So the main stem is Cripps Pink, again, aka Pink Lady. And then this branch here, this is a selection, a seedling selection by my friend Freddie Menge. And he's sure it's a cross between Lady Williams and Wixon. I believe it's a Lady Williams seedling. And he says that it hangs as late as Lady Williams, which again is my latest hanging apple, which is ripe at about February 1st. And it's a very good apple. He says it's a little bit smaller, better flavor, and just as late. Pretty exciting. That sounds really, really cool. So I got that one on here, and I'll probably add, I can put on easily another 3 varieties and just to have like each limb be in its own entire variety. But the cool thing is if I don't like anything, or if I find something better, it just doesn't take that long to work over any part of the tree to something else, or just keep adding stuff to make it more diverse. Let's head to the garden and see what's out there. All right, next up here we have Gold Rush, and I can't keep these chickens out of my garden. This is the only good example I can find on this tree. Most of them look something like this. They've cracked and started to rot. Really, it shouldn't hang on the tree this late. But it is here still, and it may vary by its ability to hang, you know, according to where you live and different climates. It's a pretty acidic apple, but it still has plenty of sugar. It has a banana flavor, which I don't like, so I'm actually going to graft this tree over. But it's really crispy, crunchy. This apple is a favorite for a lot of people. Really like this apple, and it keeps a long, long time. So I think, you know, it should be picked at least a month earlier than this and put into storage. But it'll stay good until spring. And when I say good, I mean it's not just that it's not rotten, but it'll still be pleasant, you know, really good eating. So this one here is High Cross Pippin. And this is another of Nigel Deacon's discoveries, and I don't remember what this tastes like, so let's find out. Well, it's a little odd. It's crispy. It's not bad. I don't think I'd be running out here looking for these, but it's pretty edible. It's a very white flesh. Now there is just one of these left. This is Allen's Everlasting, and the birds have been on it. It's got some cracks, definitely at its prime earlier than this. It also is supposed to keep well. I just haven't had enough to keep. I usually end up eating them all, or the birds get them. All right. Well, this is starting to go a little bit soft. It's still pretty edible, and it has a really good flavor. It's a very rich flavored apple. I like it. I think it's worth growing. Yeah, it's really good. Rich, kind of fruity flavors. Not really sure how to describe it. The flesh is pretty dense. The skin is very thick. This is an apple well worth eating. And it's supposed to keep for a really long time, which is cool. Thus the name Allen's Everlasting. I believe this is our last one here. And this is Mere Pippin, M-E-R-E. It's supposed to hang for a really long time. And it also has this upright habit where it doesn't grow out to the sides very much, and it just kind of grows up. This is what it looks like. This is another apple from Nigel Deacon. It's gone rather mealy. The flavor's okay. Nothing to write home about. But, you know, I've eaten a lot of apples today, so it's to the point where it becomes hard to judge anymore. But the texture's no fun right now. This tree is very drought stricken. We had an extreme drought year. It has just started to bear fruit. So this fruit could change quite a bit. It could improve as the tree matures, and also maybe in different years it might be different. So, let it grow for a while and see what happens. All right, so that's about what I have this year. I think I would say that the most compelling apples, the ones I think of that I want to eat the most, are Cripps Pink, aka Pink Lady, Pink Parfait, the Etter red fleshed apple. I think that's probably about my favorite. Katherine, which again I don't have that many of this year, but normally it definitely hangs into December sometime, and that is also an excellent eating apple. And of notable mention was, this year at least, was Old Nonpareil. I'm not sure how often it hangs this late. Allen's Everlasting, again, this is like really pushing it, but it was definitely still really good eating into December, into early December. Grenadine is pretty compelling just because of the flavor. The texture's not that great. Nigel's Whitwick Pippin was really quite excellent. That's really promising. So I often say that you can have apples off the tree 6 months of the year, but there's actually kind of a gap in there. The apples that are ripe now won't last until Lady Williams is ripe on February 1st, so that's about 5 weeks away. Pomo Sanel, that yellow apple that I showed you that's not ripe yet, kind of fills the gap in a little bit. And there may be some other stuff in there that I just haven't fruited yet, because I've been collecting these apples as much as possible for a while. Another apple to look at would be Granny Smith, and I know a lot of people are cringing and going, ooh, Granny Smith, because everyone hates grocery store apples. Those Granny Smiths are picked 3 months too early, probably. They can ripen in the winter time and they hang on the tree. So Granny Smith is the parent of Lady Williams, which again is my latest apple, February 1st. And Lady Williams is the parent of Pink Lady, which is another good late apple. So I think breeding using those three, or that gene pool, is going to have some promising possibilities for late hanging apples. Imagine a tree like a multi-grafted tree with maybe 5 or 6 of these super late ripening apples. That's just amazing for us. So it's kind of up to us to take on that task of breeding those things, and we have some really good genes to work with, and I think those are probably a good place to start. It's also looking like Whitwick Pippin may be a good one too. Well, that's it for today, and I hope this was useful. If anyone out there has very late hanging apple varieties that they think are really outstanding, eating quality anywhere from about the first week of December and later, I would very much like to get scions from you. I'd like to keep collecting these, trialing them out, testing them, letting people know about them, and using them in my breeding program. I've already used some. I've used Lady Williams, Cripps Pink, and Pink Parfait in breeding, and I would like to continue working in that direction. Very late hanging apples just hold amazing possibilities, and I think that we should really be working to kind of exploit that and develop it as amateur citizen breeders. See you next time.